Well, one of the top Republicans on the Senate Judiciary Committee bluntly saying that Judge Sotomayor will sail through her confirmation process unless she has a total meltdown. But South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham still expressed concerns about this nominee. Take a listen.
The drama's being created here is interesting, and my Republican colleagues who vote against you, I assure you, could vote for a Hispanic nominee. They just feel unnerved by your speeches and by some of the things that you've said and some of your cases.
Senator Graham joins us live. He's my guest this morning. Good morning, Senator.
Good morning.
All right, so you took some hits in the press from your conservative colleagues for saying that Sonia Sotomayor was going to sail through unless she had a total meltdown. Some suggesting you should not be treating this like a foregone conclusion. Are you sorry you said that?
Well, no, I'm never sorry, to be honest. She'd have to lose 10 Democrats and every Republican vote against her. I was in the gang of 14, and I'm glad I was. We avoided changing the Senate rules to require a simple majority vote. The minority has the right to hold up a nominee. If there's an extraordinary circumstance, I don't see one developing here. So I'm just telling people in South Carolina and throughout the country the lay of the land. So far, as I see it, she's going to get a lot of votes, well over 50.
You talked a lot yesterday about Barack Obama's standard, and said frankly to the nominee, "Look, if I used his standard, I wouldn't vote for you," because he didn't just look at qualifications exactly when he considered Alito and Roberts. He looked at ideology, which is not really how the court has worked in the past, or these confirmation processes have worked. Why not use then Senator Obama's standard against this nominee?
Well, I think it'd be disastrous for the country, but I'm going to play around applying that standard. He said to get to the last mile of a marathon, it's more than qualifications and adherence to precedent. At the end of the day, you have to look at the judge's heart. So I'm going to have a discussion with Judge Sotomayor. She filed a brief, the Puerto Rican Legal Defense Fund filed a brief saying that if you deny a poor woman Medicaid funding to have an abortion, taxpayer-funded abortion, you're basically treating her like Dred Scott, enslaving her. I want to know her heart about the unborn. And the reason I don't think this is the way to go is you start asking people about their heart and not the law. And Senator Obama tried to make up a standard to justify a vote against Alito and Roberts, who were highly qualified, to please his liberal base because he was running for president. I thought that was a real cop-out, and I don't think that's what the Senate should be doing. But we'll use that standard for a few minutes in the hearing and just show people how uncomfortable it will be for the country if everybody followed his lead.
You know, one of the moments that many people, including myself, remember most from the Sam Alito confirmation hearings was when you talked to him about the charges being levied against him by some of your Democratic colleagues. And they were using his affiliation in this group, Concerned Alumni of Princeton, where he attended as an undergrad, against him. That was a group that raised some issues about minorities and women being admitted into Princeton. And you asked him flat out, "Are you a bigot, sir?" He said, "Of course not." You said, "Of course not." His affiliation with that group became a running theme for Democrats who wanted to use everything that group did against Sam Alito, even though he said he had very little memory of ever even being a part of it. If you go there with the Puerto Rican Legal Defense and Education Fund with Judge Sotomayor, or other Republican senators do that, she sat on the board of it for 12 years, but she wasn't an active lawyer in it. Are you worried about having the same charge made against you?
Well, my concern with Judge Alito is that you were trying to make him guilt by association. You know, the one thing I told her that during her time with the Puerto Rican Legal Defense Fund, they took on some very liberal causes. And I'm not going to disqualify a lawyer for embracing causes I disagree with. I would have loved to have been on the other side of the case and arguing that if you use federal taxpayer dollars for abortion, you're committing a very bad act, that most Americans don't want their money used to fund abortion. I'd love to have been on the other side of that issue. But I'm going to expose her record for what I think it was as a lawyer, extremely liberal. Then you look at her 12 years on the bench, which has been left of center, but I don't think an activist judge. Then we're going to look at her speeches, which are the most troubling of all to me.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to hear a lot about those today from you and your Republican colleagues. We will be watching, Senator Graham. It's always a pleasure having you on. Thanks so much. Good luck today.